Hey, welcome to this episode of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast with me, your host, Iona Meade at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona, and it is Emotional Freedom Wednesday. So we're going to be talking about today on the YouTube podcast episode, we're going to be talking about the emotional scale for spiritual entrepreneurs. So if you are not familiar with the emotional scale, the vibrational scale, I love to see how I'm feeling in accordance with this emotional scale. And so Abraham Hicks talk about the emotional scale and 22 points of emotions on this scale. So the highest vibration and the lower vibrations. And we know law of attraction, law of vibration, wherever we are vibing is what it is that we are manifesting, right? Sounds pretty simple. So I want to talk about this today, and I'm going to talk about The Astonishing Power of Emotions, the book that I've just been listening to, a little bit of a glimpse that actually helps this, to an understanding of this. So the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is all about raising your vibrational frequency. So you're welcome. This is a very practical episode. It's a practical podcast where we journal together, we visualize together, we set intentions together to manifest. And I absolutely love this process. First and foremost, this process is for me. I use what I call my Soul Legacy Journal. Spiritual Awakening Stories are 365. So every single day, I'm going through that shift in my own consciousness, my own awareness. It's super exciting. And I don't know if my internet is good. I'm hoping that it is. I tend to move around a lot. And I'm kind of off traveling, doing the whole spiritual digital nomad thing. So bear with me if my internet is not good. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, if you're listening on the podcast, everything should be okay. Out via StreamYard. I saw a jump then. I am streaming out via StreamYard. And I just got done with the first episode of the fourth episode, in the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. That happens on the 2 Middle Binge Watch Wednesdays. I don't think there's an accident that actually has happened on the Emotional Freedom Day. I'll talk about that as we go through the episode. But the StreamYard said that the recording wasn't fully uploaded. So I don't know. Like for me, this looks fine. I don't look choppy. But if I do, again, apologies. Right. Okay. So the emotional scale. Are you familiar with the emotional scale? Do you notice what I've noticed as I have worked with my students and my clients is that this emotional scale, referring to it, what I've learned is as we have patterns, that we tend to dip down in our vibration at a certain point, like say overwhelmed, you make a spiral down. And then we might come back in on the emotional scale as optimism. So if you haven't had a look at that emotional scale and you are a spiritual entrepreneur, you're a service-based business owner, a light worker, it works for everyone, obviously. But just to do your light work in the world, when we talk about the emotions, I knew that a lot of people had fear. I had fear, self-doubt, all those things, overwhelm, guilt, shame, blame, all those things. And not the best place to reside at that frequency for us as a collective that we come to do our work in the world. And so I've gone on this mission to support myself in rising and residing at what I call the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. And that's how this Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast was titled and what it is. And so the lowest vibration, the lower vibrations are victimhood and powerlessness and fear, right? And so when we are here to birth light in the world, say hi. When we're here to birth light in the world and we're vibrating at the lowest vibrational frequency, we're doing ourselves a disservice because we're not manifesting and creating from the higher vibrations. And so I was talking to my guest, Casey, who was talking about creating when she went on her spiritual awakening journey, like over 40 years. And she said in the interview today that when we create or we set that intention through worry, or we put an order, a cosmic order out in the universe, and it's coming from that lower vibrational frequency, then we're going to get more of the same. Like, it's that, like, this is what I'm here to remind you of, because we do it and we all do it, and that's okay. And our job is to figure things out. And so Casey was saying, she believes that, when we're done figuring things out, we're kind of done on this earthly plane. And so we're always figuring things out, and we're always elevating. So I'm here to support you in raising your own vibration and your own energy. As I raise my vibration, you raise your vibrational frequency. We raise the vibration of the consciousness and the collective, or the consciousness of the collective. So our thoughts are birthed in the ethers, and they stay there. And then when other people catch the same thoughts or on the same vibrational frequency, then we come together. And Casey was saying that in her community, she's got a YouTube channel called Casey Spiritual Corner, and she does talks and tarot and stuff. And she was just saying that she was calling in. She's been doing it for 7 years. I didn't know that. I found out that today. She was calling in the people that are ready. And so I love that. And I've done the same. I'm calling in the people that are ready to hear this. So we'll dive into this episode with moving up the emotional scale is the intention, and vibrating at love and joy and freedom and empowerment and knowledge and appreciation. And if you're not there, then it's okay. Hopefully this process will support you, right? And I wrote some notes down. I'm like, what does that say? But it says what I've just said. All right, so I'm gonna have a sip of which is non-decaf coffee, which is not, I talk about my health on a Tuesday, and it's not great for me, but I want to, I'm not at home, and I just think, okay, let me have, and I've got a plaster on my finger, look. I've been growing my nails, and my nail snapped, so I'm protecting it, because emotionally it's going to hurt. All right, so, my cup on there. All right, so in this episode, you're watching me on the YouTube channel, it kind of makes sense. If you're listening, you're like, what's she doing? We are going to talk about your emotions, our emotions, my emotions, your emotions, okay? And I want to hold space for you. I definitely want to hold space for you. So I've got some notes. I haven't got my journal because I forgot it, but the goal is still the same, and the flow is still the same. And so the emotional scale for spiritual entrepreneurs and that spiritual business success, one of the things is not letting go of perfectionism and letting go of all the things that I'm learning as I'm going and as I'm doing this, being a digital nomad and kind of just leaving my home and traveling. I could have had so many emotions about that, and I have. And now I've made peace with it, and I realized just how much I'm here to learn in this process of running my spiritual business online, needing an internet connection, obviously. And I don't know what the internet is going to be like, but hopefully it's okay. All right. So the diving into this episode today, I want to frame this. And so I say rising and residing at the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, meaning the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast has an acronym for what I call the intentional living codes. Again, visualizing, setting intentions, and putting your energy out into the universe. And I call that the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. Every single area of your life, how you feel about it is going to determine what you're manifesting, right? And so I like to think of this as a midpoint in the week where we're like reflecting on these 7 areas. And so for those of you who don't know, the Cheers to Financial Freedom acronym, the C stands for contribution freedom, the H stands for health freedom, emotional freedom is today. For the E, the second E is environmental freedom, which is something that I really wanted to experience. The R is for relationship freedom. The S is for spiritual freedom, and the F is for financial freedom. And we're going to talk about how you feel in each area of your life. And I will share with you my highs, my lows, my feelings. And because I'm doing this process, I notice my feelings throughout the week. It's not just on this on this episode and on this podcast, like on a Wednesday. It helps us to bring our awareness into each and every moment. So hopefully it will help you. So we're going to talk about rating a vibrational frequency in this first segment. The second segment, I like that segments. The second segment, we're going to talk about vision boarding. And so I have a free 7-day spiritual business vision board challenge for more life work balance. And if you are in my communities, or if you're in the soullegacyacademy.com, which I'm the founder of, then welcome. And so if you're watching me in there, I'm streaming this out and I embed, I like to repurpose everything that I do. So this is for me, it's for you, and it's for my students as well in the Soul Legacy Academy. And so the Vision Board Challenge is something that I teach annually on the second week in December, Monday to Sunday, live for free. Monday to Sunday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. So if you are into vision boarding, I had a new member come in, asked to join which I haven't approved her yet because I want to do some teaching on it, into the community for vision boarding, and saying, I've done a vision board, but I haven't done it in this way. And sometimes we think we know and we don't know what we don't know. So I invite you to experience that vision board. It is completely free. You're going to need a week to do it. It's not about sticking pictures on a corkboard, right? We have a digital vision board, which I teach you to do on Canva, but you can stick pictures on a corkboard. But we divide your life into these areas, the 7 freedoms frequency, so that you can see that level of success and what success means to you. And you can see how you feel about each area of your life, and then bring all of that back to make up a beautiful picture and a video montage that you can play each day, so that you're reminding yourself of, oh, I am a soul having a human experience, and I do create and manifest my life. So that's the vision board. So we'll be talking about that and the images that we have on there. We'll talk about expressing gratitude in the 7 freedoms frequency way. Then the next segment, we're going to talk about how you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day, right? I'm looking down because I'm looking at my notes. And this is the structure and the format, which kind of came to me a few years ago. When I was in my twin flame union, in the relationship, I was like birthing this process. And because he was not aware, and he'd went through his spiritual awakening after, he was like, and this keeps coming up as I'm doing the segments. I'm like, oh, that was a thing. And he said, well, people won't want to do that. Like, it's too long. And everything I do is long. And I've come back full circle, not intentionally segmenting this journaling process down into these sections, because it's not just one thing. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. It wasn't exactly like this, but every time I look down at this, I'm like, oh, and it's segments of the journaling process and traveling up the emotional scale, and hopefully it will help you. So the next segment on this podcast for spiritual business success, we are going to talk about your next steps, your soul guided action steps, because we set the intentions, we visualize, we do all the things. If we don't actually meet the universe in the middle and walk that path, that soul path, not a lot really actually happens. Okay. So the sixth segment is the soul income game, which I love. I think it's my favorite part of this 7 freedoms frequency podcast, because we get to see who we be with financial freedom. So we're going to play the soul income game. The 7th segment is the book that I read, which I just mentioned. I listened to The Astonishing Power of Emotions by Abraham Hicks, and Let Your Feelings Be Your Guide. So just a little bit of a segment. Every single day I fuel my mind with an author, some teachings. I love watching YouTube as well, and I ended up being on YouTube. I'm like, I love it, and I've turned this into my job. This is me working. So we're gonna I've got a card for today, which is a card from Keepers of the Light. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of a nugget of wisdom from that card. Casey was talking about in our interview today how she used tarot and how she supports her students and her clients and her community on the YouTube channel through tarot and asking questions. And I love that. And you might resonate with that. And then I'm going to invite you into the Spiritual Biz YouTubers network for to continue on this conversation, but also to connect and co-create and collaborate and cross-promote with like minds. Me doing joint vision partnerships in interviewing. It's just it's so lovely to know that you don't have to do this alone. So if you've been traveling this journey alone and you felt isolated, Casey was talking about that. Each of my guests are sharing their spiritual awakening story, and I used journaling and visualization as my spiritual ascension tools to go through my awakening. And so I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to bring the tools that other guests were using or have used and share that process with you. All right, so let's do our rating. Looking a bit relaxed, right? I'm chilling. I'm usually end up being on for about an hour or so, and I want to respect your time, but it's a process. And this is me. This is my power hour as well. I wouldn't even say power hour. It's my energy hour. It's my energy reset, my freedom hour, right? My soul intention hour. I'll call it something. I'm always naming things. All right. So your frequency, Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, makes sense to ask you how you feel. How do you feel? And I'm hoping that my internet is good because I can see people hopping in and out. And hopefully, I'm in a bright yellow t-shirt. So that's kind of like, hello. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling? Do you feel good? The way that I like to rate my vibrational frequency, just a quick check-in, is to feel whether I'm in what I call soul funk or soul flow. And soul funk is just like that. When it doesn't feel like anything's going right or things just I feel like it's like that forcing, like you're trying to micromanage everything, right? Or you feel gunked up or just not in flow. We know what flow and alignment feels like. That alignment with source higher. And I just love that flow. I just love listening to that guidance, hearing that guide, however you hear it, however you know it. It's just such a beautiful process. And if you have not experienced it yet, which I'm sure that you have, it's hard to describe and decipher what that is. And as my guests come to the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit to share their spiritual awakening story, what I'm hearing is, and let me know if this is true for you, what I'm hearing is that they had that flow from a very young age. I did. And then they might lock it off because of the judgment of other people, making us feel some type of way. So how are you feeling today? Are you feeling do you tune into your soul guidance on a daily basis? And does it feel weird or does it feel natural to you? It feels natural to me. And anyone around me now is just like, yeah, she's just doing her thing. So I do my thing. Whether anyone's going to judge it or like it or not, I've gone through enough of my spiritual awakening journey not to feel isolated and feel alone and feel in a bubble. So how are you feeling today? So we want to rate between a 1 and 11. If you are familiar with the Wheel of Life, I've been eating nuts, sorry. A 1 and 11. And if you are familiar with the Wheel of Life, lots of coaches use it. And it's a tool to help you segment your life into whatever area that you want. We have the 7 freedoms frequency, the 7 areas, and say, from a 0 to 10, how do you feel about your life? Do you feel unfulfilled? And it feels like an external process, whereas my soul legacy wheel and what I teach on the vision board challenge is more of an internal checking in and a source and a guidance, because we are humans having this soul's having this human experience, right? And so how we feel, we don't want to get pushed and pulled by life, because life is not going to change unless you change how you feel about it, right? So when we're looking at the world through the soul lens, then you feel different. Chaos can unfold, so many things can happen, and it's how you feel, your perception, that really matters, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So how do you feel today? So my rating I want to be in alignment with my North Star, my guidance in terms of my emotions. So at my emotional freedom frequency, I want to emit the vibration. You know, when you want to feel joyful and happy and appreciation, empowerment, it's embodying that. It's that feeling and emitting that vibration, and then just magic happens. And so I feel at the vibrational frequency, my code, the intentional living codes, my code, what makes me feel at those vibrational frequencies is different to what the external circumstances that manifest for you. But how do you feel? So I feel at an 11. And so I will write that down. And then next week, I will come back and say, what was I vibrating? How was I vibrating emotionally? And what I think of is my contribution, all of the seven freedoms. How do I feel about my contribution? How do I feel about my health? How do I feel about how I feel? How do I feel? Because we beat ourselves up sometimes, like I feel some type of way about feeling some type of way. And Casey was saying with her health, and what she's noticed is that people don't fake illness, people fake wellness. And I was like, huh? And she said, people fake, and not just wellness, people fake being happy. Right? Like, especially with social media, it's like, what you're faking, like, and really they're struggling behind closed doors. And that's that feeling. This is what I'm here for, to tune in. And so, how do you feel about your environment? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel about your spirituality and the connection? And how do you feel about your finances? That's what I want you to check in with. Every single day, we do the same thing. And again, this emotional freedom Wednesday is a point of getting to reset the energy to emit a different vibrational frequency on every single area of your life. Check it. Check to see whether you need the external circumstances to change in order for you to feel good, when you know that when you're awakened, that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. And I'm learning every single day, even more every time I have a conversation. So let's talk about visualization, right? And vision boards. So I love it. I came online in 2008, 2009 as the vision coach. And my first website was makeyourownvisionboard.com. That's what it was called. And so I was saying to Casey, I shared my part of my spiritual awakening on my masterclass, and I have the vision of me sat on the doorstep with my friend's grandmother at the time, and just literally seeing the crossroads of her life and guiding her through it and saying, here's the pros and here's the cons of you, choose your choice. I could see the vision for her. Hey, love. And I could see the vision for her. And my friend was, we were like 8 or something, 7 or 8. And she was younger than me. And she told me of the story of how her grandmother was drinking and how it was impacting her. And I literally could see in that moment, you making a choice to continue on this path or making a choice for a new path, how that would impact not only my friend's grandmother, but as that legacy. And so it's amazing that when you are young and you tune in and things seem so simple, and as we get older, it's like, oh, I feel like I've got no choice. You feel like you're backed into a corner. You feel like, oh, well, I want this vision on my vision board, but I can't have that. And Casey talked a little bit about, going out there and doing some more work in the world in different spaces and feeling like that doubt come along and feeling like, oh, these are my gifts, but can I? And then getting the signs and the synchronicity, the universe is like, yes, bring it. So Robin is on with us. Hey, love. Robin, what is going on with the Facebook and not on YouTube? You're on the Facebook. I don't know what's happening. Am I choppy in my internet? Because it was this morning on that interview. It was quite bad, actually. This spiritual digital nomad thing and the internet thing. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. So I feel that my internet needs to fix itself, is what I feel like. So the vision board challenge, and Robin's been through the vision board challenge a couple of times, 2-3 times. And everybody that does go through it and takes that time, it's a week. It's amazing. And again, I do it live on the second week in December at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Robin says, you're not chopping out. My keyboard still freezes when I try to comment on YouTube. Weird. That is very weird. Now we want to be on the YouTube platform. We want to do that. I'm so happy that I'm not choppy. Yes, but obviously so Robin is going to be featuring sharing her spiritual awakening story and our connection and our journey and how her spiritual awakening has unfolded over the years and your earlier story. And maybe it's just like bringing somebody else in, because Casey's internet looked amazing. I watched a little bit of the replay, and I'm loving this journey. That's how I feel. Robin said it is weird. Agree. So vision boarding on my spiritual vision board. Again, this is the process that I use for me. I wanted to normalize, normalize, meaning make it known more so, and people not necessarily be ridiculed and criticized and judged for going on a spiritual path, knowing that we are souls having a human experience. Because the norm is for the human experience to be at the forefront of people's minds. And I'm like, well, if this is not the way that it really is, I want to share this with so many people. And the first thing I did was go on to YouTube. So this right now was on my vision board, a version of this, the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, and having that spiritual business success, because I feared success and I feared selling and I feared failure. And I can tell you now that all of that has happened for me to be here. And all of that has happened for me to be on this spiritual path and this spiritual journey, to be able to bring people in to share that. And as I was doing this, Robin, I was saying to myself, I could hear the voices of my students and the tribe that I was attracting in the spiritual business woman community. Now it's the Spiritual Business YouTubers Network. And people like, you make it look easy. I only make it look easy. And I find it easier now. And I didn't have my notes until this morning for this episode. How I used to feel about presenting, how I used to feel about being in front of the camera. I was fearful, and we know that that is a lower vibration. But when we put things on our vision board and it's already done, what I noticed was, starting the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit last week, I was saying to Ramona, who I kicked off the first episode with for this season, and it's scheduled out for 7 seasons, is like, I'm excited, but it just feels like the norm. And Casey was talking about this, like, when you ask for something on your vision board, when you ask for something, ask for it one time, because if you keep on asking, it's like you don't believe it. The universe is like, what the heck? It's done. Like, trust it. And she was saying, trust it. And I love that. And so this process of me journaling and using the Soul Legacy Journal is acknowledging that it's done and doing the inner work to raise our vibration, because we believe it's done. And we know that it's that energetic clearing. As soon as we've cleared the energy that's blocking it, it's right there. And so I love this process of this journaling. So the vision board challenge, I think it's just amazing. I'm really looking forward to hearing more of my students having that those manifestations along the way, and the aha moments and all the things. So let's talk about, in the next segment, I've decided to call it this segment of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. And Robin's heard me talk about this podcast for ages, and she's heard me talk about the summit for ages, but so many things had to happen first in order for it to run the way that it's run, right? And I love it. I love it. Sometimes we want things to run faster than what the universe will bring things in divine time. But we are like impatient, and we go, well, it should have done. I asked, should have been given yesterday. And it's not. When we trust, it just unfolds. I love it. So let's express gratitude, and which helps with the whole manifestation and what that looks like to you. So let's do gratitude, what I call the Seven Freedoms Frequency way. And so each and every single day, I will express my gratitude, and I have my if you've watched The Secret movie, you might be familiar with the stones, gratitude stone, gratitude rock, whatever. And I've got mine. It's actually quite warm. It's a love heart. I'm saying I've got a plaster on my thumbnail. I've been growing my nails and it's split right down the middle. I was like, oh, how I feel about it. So anyway, the gratitude stone, it's distracting me because I can't really feel like the plaster is like my senses. So it's bringing my attention to that. So I have my gratitude rock stone that my daughter gave me when she was little. I was like, hey, Mum, look, I found this. She found two when I gave one to my twin flame. It's a smaller one. I was like, I just feel really good about it. It's a connection to something that is my happy place. So the way that we express gratitude, and I know that everybody knows what gratitude is, and Casey again talked about gratitude as well on the interview. And so I like to do it. Yeah, I have my stone. I love it. You love that? It's so beautiful. And it reminds me of my daughter, and I just think, oh wow. There's a lot of love already there, and I'm grateful for the stone, so it just activates that gratitude for me. So the way that I express gratitude, and I like to say it's soul speaking into existence, and I'm doing this every single day, and it's the same rituals, the same routine, the same segments, but a different focus and a different intention every single day. But it's the same pattern and the same cycle, and it's repetition. And sometimes we resist even the repetition of something. Well, I've got to say gratitude again. And it's like the amount of thoughts that we have throughout the day and feelings. We want it to be at that tipping point where you're raising your vibration. So it is at that frequency of love, joy, empowerment. It's doing the work. And for me, this saves a lot of the work that you would be doing had you not be doing this, if that makes sense. Like, it saves me a lot of work because when I drop off, I notice, and you might have your own processes anyway. So I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. You want to feel happy. I ask so many people, are you happy? And there's not that many people that say, yeah, of course I'm happy. They say, of course I'm not. Like, this is going wrong. That is going wrong. That is happening. All external. And that's why I say with the wheel of life, we do the soul legacy wheel, because they say, I'm not happy. It's like, happiness is a decision. It's a choice. And when we don't believe that, then we're not happy, right? So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. Robin says truth, sorry. The less work to stay consistent than to dig yourself out of the trenches. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because it is exactly that. It's maintaining. So you're not going super high, super low, super high, that roller coaster. The roller coaster doesn't feel good to me. Not to say that we don't have contrast, and I'll talk about that for the book that I had read today, for the Astonishing Power of Emotions. And I don't think that I wrote that down, so I will for the contrast, right? Because when we ask for when we experience what we don't want, we now know what we do want. So there's a purpose in it. However, if we maintain the vibrational frequency and we're not going to, because for some people it's notches in the vibration, and some people, those extremes can take us so low. And I often say that when you're vibing high and you have some contrast, you do hit low, because you hit a low, although it might not be as low as what you've been before, but it feels like more extreme from when you're vibrating at a high place. Robin says, I'm not a fan of the roller coaster either. It sucks. Like, I'm not even gonna, it sucks for me. I'm like, oh, but it's not to say that we never ever will go on it. But yeah, the consistency. I'm committed and dedicated to this path. And I've created this as accountability in my world, in my work. And that's why I say this is for me. So I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. And sometimes we don't feel like, when we're going on this roller coaster, that we've got much to be grateful for, like, and appreciate and feel happy about. Like, for those who don't feel happy, this is such a beautiful process, because it's like when you're all said and done in this lifetime, your legacy of spreading that love and that joy and that laughter and that knowledge and that empowerment, by being the example in the world, is the most beautiful gift that you can give. I want my daughter to see that I am happy. There's so many things that have gone through my life. I'm a bereaved parent. You know, my son passed 8 years ago, and I can still say that I'm happy. Not happy as what I would be if my son was here, but I'm happy. And I'm always laughing, always smiling. So I was doing the interview this morning, and the company that I'm in was like, "Oh, it sounds like you really enjoyed that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I just laugh a lot." Um, so, if you don't feel like you have a lot to be grateful for, think of the past, the present, or the predicted future, the things that are on your vision board, because in order for that to manifest, before it manifests, you want to feel the vibration of it. And that's kind of what Casey was saying. And we know it intellectually, living it is something different. We know. And if you're here watching this, you're watching it on the replay, listening on the replay, you'll be feeling it, right? So let me bring into the Chase of Financial Freedom frequency. So we bring in all of the intentional living codes, and that's why I wanted to do I named this podcast the Seven Freedoms frequency, because we're raising our vibrational frequency, and we're residing. So that's that consistency, residing at that frequency, because when we're just easily in flow manifesting. We don't have to be pushed and pulled by life. We don't actually have to, right? And so we're going to bring in the acronym. So on Mondays, we talk about contribution freedom. And Tuesdays, we talk about health freedom. On Wednesdays, we talk about emotional freedom, which is today. Thursdays, we talk about environmental freedom. Fridays is relationship freedom. Saturdays is spiritual freedom. And financial freedom is Sunday. So let's bring in the gratitude again. I'm happy and I'm grateful. I appreciate. Those are the words. That's the affirmation. And you're being open and receptive to, is it something from the past? Is it something in the present? Or is it something in the future? Just go with whatever it is that you feel. And I will do it. And I do it with you, because this is my process and it's for me first. we teach what we need to learn the most. Robin says exactly. Knowing it and doing it, living it isn't the same unless we choose to do it. And I believe in the spiritual community. I think for me, that is what I'm here for. I think that is my legacy: launching, leading, and leaving your day, the practicals of actually doing that. And so Casey was talking about, the tarot, when people are using it, people were not teaching the basics. What is your energy and what is not? What is the foundational pieces? And I wanted to go back to basics. And sometimes people look at that like, oh, I know that. And like, girl, boy, look what is happening in your life. And then tell me whether you really, really know it, and tell me whether you really, really, really trust it in that moment on a daily, right? Because there's gaps. And especially when people come to me and they're ready for this, that's what I set the intention for. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate in terms of my contribution. Yay! Doing the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. I'm like, it is lit. So I've got a live at 9 a.m., 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. on the 2 middle binge watch Wednesdays of the month. I've said that for the longest. And I came online with 2 versions of that over the years. 8 years ago is when I first started, when I first got the seeds of this download. I'm so happy and grateful and appreciate that, like technology. And I forgive myself and I give myself grace no matter what happens. Love that. Happy and grateful and appreciate in terms of my health. Do you know what? Going back to eating what I want to eat when I want to eat it. And no, because I say that like with if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can kind of see my expression, because there was somewhere along the line of, when you're in a lower vibration, when I was in a lower vibrational frequency, it felt like everything I ate just stuck to my hips. And I talked about the health and the belief that I had during my twin flame union, or a result, or the residual of coming out of that with more baggage. And I'll talk more about on Relationship Freedom Friday. But just I've released the belief, and I feel amazing. And I'm like, oh, and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm getting dressed and I'm like, girl, not that everything is physical, but I want to feel good in my body. That is my intention. That's my choice. And it's not a judgment. I can almost hear that, like, what does that matter? It matters to me. It matters a lot to me. And I talked about this yesterday in episode 9. And being in the space that I am in now, in the company that I'm in now, highlighted that. It highlighted that for me. And I was like, oh my God, it's taken the longest to feel that. I didn't think I would be able to shift that belief. I did, but I was working on it. But all of a sudden it's gone. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I feel amazing. So I'm able to eat what I want when I want. That's my belief now. And I'm really happy and grateful and appreciate that that belief has shifted back to where it was and even more freedom. Right. Yeah, as a woman of 50, when our hormones are all over, when food is like, I fast, I'm fasting. So I'm naturally fasting and putting the windows of time because I know that works best for me. But we went out for a meal last night and I was like, I didn't wonder or worry about what I was going to have on the menu, but I did make a really good choice. I made the choice that would serve and support my body. So my intentions and my goal are in alignment. So I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate in terms of my emotions, just knowing that there is a vibrational scale, there is an emotional scale, and it is a scale, and our emotions can go up and down. And one of the things that I've noticed even more so over this last few days, because I've been in London, I've been in that environment, and I'm out in nature, I'm out in a quieter, calmer, collective space, I suppose. And I've noticed the power of our words, the power of our energy. And as an empath, as Robin talks about on her YouTube channel, Empathic Healers, the power of somebody else's energy and the influence that has. And so I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate knowing what's mine and what's not. I really deeply appreciate knowing that I am an empath and there are people like Robin to support me and you on our journey, because otherwise life feels heavy. So I'm truly grateful for that. And I know that there's labels, which we don't like labels, but sometimes labels help us to understand. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate in terms of my environment again. Going to London wasn't like a choice that it's like, oh, this is going to be my forever home. But I'm grateful for it. But I'm also grateful for the contrast of city life and more suburban life. And I'm grateful for walking out in nature, taking a picture with my tree. I didn't hug the tree yesterday, actually. I took a picture of it. Um, and there was images that I caught for my vision board, and one was a bench that was arced, shaped around the tree. I was like, yeah, I want one of those on my in my property for my barn conversion. And then there was like a hideaway to view birds and stuff. And we couldn't see any of the birds. We were like, where are they? It's like, shh, supposed to be quiet, but there were not any that we saw. And I was like, I want like a tree house. I want that. It was able to visualize the space. My forever home isn't in the city, but I am someone who likes to still party. And I like that. As I'm coming into this chapter of my life, I'm really happy and grateful that I can see clearly and I can be in vibrational match to the long-term environment that I want to experience. It's just really, really beautiful. Robin says, that's deep, isn't it? The power of that energy and our ability to move through those energies. Absolutely. And removing myself from that frequency, just to have an environment where I could do my work and that was quieter without like the TV noise. I'm very sensitive to TV. Millions of people watch TV, and I haven't for years and years. And so being in an environment where it's like, oh, TV, that's not blame shame or anything like that. It's like, that's somebody's home, that's their pastime. And sometimes you watch great stuff, and I do watch like shows and stuff, but energetically, the vibration of it is in the environment. And it's not it's just my preference now, and knowing that what is in alignment with me um is big for me, because now I'm, and this space that I'm in is a space that I love. It was a space of like a go-to space for me before I moved. So it's like having that reset. It's like when I went to the Airbnb before I moved to London. I had 3 days in this most amazing Airbnb. And I do believe that our environment fuels us. So when we're looking and we're putting things on our vision board, definitely be mindful of that. A treehouse. Yeah, it was like, it was a hideaway. I've got pictures. I'll share those with you. It was a hideaway. So it wasn't in a tree, this one, but it was really big, and it had like steps going up and then a place underneath with with doors, like oblong window hatches like this big. There's me going to the side like this big, like this, and just several of them, and then you just lifted them up and you were just there listening to nature, looking for them. And they had all posters of the kind of birds that you might see, and it looked like a treehouse, but it was on solid foundation. You walk up the stairs, and I thought that could be embedded in like the tree. And I was like, I was snapping, I was taking pictures, like, yeah. And that, like, can you build me a tree house? Can you build me this bench? And I'm like literally taking pictures because I know that he's great with his hands. And so I was like, yeah, can you build me that? Like, and he's like looking at me and saying, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, when I get my barn, you are doing that. I love like people that can work with their hands, and I'm not that great. So there you go. That sounds so cool. I thought it was really cool. So in December, when I do the vision board again, though, you'll see those images on there, and every single, wherever I go, it's like, yeah, I'll snap the images for the things that I want to experience. Just saying. And I'll talk about the soulmate connection on Friday because it's big, and I know the way that I feel manifests very, very quickly. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. I'm happy and I'm grateful for soulmates connections, and you have beautiful friendships, and you have soulmates come in so many different forms to serve us. And this one keeps coming back around to serve me, literally calling it in. And I'll talk again about Friday, calling it in temporarily, calling it out, and helping me move on my path to the next thing, to manifesting the person that is going to be my husband, the person that is going to, do you know what I mean? I keep getting clarity, I keep getting the contrast, and it's beautiful. So I'm happy and grateful and appreciate soulmate connections. I'm just saying. All right, so spirituality, that for me is manifesting. Happy and grateful energy, just knowing and being able to have a conversation about it and not feeling weird. I did feel weird doing my live yesterday in this space, and having someone that I don't usually speak out loud hearing me share. That was just like really weird. I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted to cut off the live. I'm like, oh no, I don't even know. Anyway, I pushed through, and it's helping me to be me, all of me, no matter what. Financial freedom, I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that, no matter what it is that I need, basics, and luxury, it's there. It's there, and I'm taken care of. It's amazing. All right, cool. All right, so next segment is how we launch our day, lead our day, and leave our day. So you'll see that living an intentional life with this intentional living codes and me journaling is me living it. And Robin's doing the same with, preparing me for the life stages, and coming back and learning. This soulmate connection has been like over like the last 3 years, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm just, what is this? And I talk about dating and spiritual dating on my other YouTube channel, so I'll talk about it on Friday. But yeah, it does. It keeps coming back. And I'm like, what is this? And I literally sat on I was doing on the dating apps, and I'm on Bumble. I've been on Bumble, and I manifested my twin flame on there, and that union. And this one keeps coming back, which I didn't realize he was on it. And I sat there and I said, I'm going to manifest. Right. That's it. Like, I've been listening to Dolores Cannon by asking what it is that I want to experience. and doing that divine order, that cosmic order. And so I sat there and I was like, right, you're going to manifest your soulmate today. I didn't actually say my husband. I said soulmate. So like the next time I do it, it's like I'm manifesting my husband. So I'm learning, right? So I was like, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's him. I did that 2, 3 times. I'm like, that's not him. I'm like 1, 2, 3. That's not him. I'm like, okay, let me feel. So here's the feeling. Let me feel into this. 1, 2, 3. Nah. 1, 2, 3. And this dude is there. I'm like, what are the chances? No. What are the chances of that? Like, what? And so then, and here I am, like a few days later in this environment, getting more of the lessons that I need and just loving it and just having the peace and the serenity it's just beautiful. So yeah, it is preparing me. Not live stages. No, live stages to speak on. Oh, for the live stages or to speak on stages. Yeah, and he had a dream of me speaking on stage twice actually, and said I could visualize you being. He didn't know. He does not know what I do, and so he didn't know it. And he had a dream of me being in like the public eye, and he said that I believe that you're not going to be speaking to me, and I knew I had to reach out. And I was like, oh, and he reached out and we were not talking. And the next day I reached back out to him. He's like, have you not been getting my messages all week? And I was like, no. It's like, I said that is the last time I'm reaching out to her. And it happened again. It happened again. When I reached out, it happened again. I was like, what is this? So yeah, definitely preparing me for the live stages, for doing my TED talk and for holding a platform for others to speak on the stage for the Soul Legacy Academy. Absolutely. Yes. I was going to save it for Relationship Freedom Friday, and I'll talk more about it because we don't know what we don't know. And then the universe is like, there you go. Again. So how will you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day that's in alignment with your vision board? So people talk about your morning routine, right? This power hour or whatever you want to call it. Do you do that? Do you have a morning routine? Do you do a set of rituals and routines that are like, yes, this is setting me up for my day? And then do you drop off? How do you lead your day in terms of how you feel? And how do you leave your day? So for me, creating a more intentional life based on the 7 freedoms, like how do I feel about contributing? Where is that in my day? In my morning routine, in my daily routine, in my nighttime routine? For me, the spiritual annual YouTube summit, spiritual awakening annual YouTube summit, I'm launching that in the morning. This morning, that's how I launch my day. And then I lead my day. Here I am, and I'll be with Robin at 3. And then I will be with Maria at 9. And so in between that, we'll do something, and I'll do something offline. I'll do something fun. In terms of my contribution, that I feel amazing. How do you feel in terms of your health, what you're eating in the morning, in the daytime, in the nighttime? Like, how do you feel? How are you launching your day, leaving your day? Who are you launching? Where are you? Where are you in your environment? Like, do you go to a sacred place? Do you bring your spirituality into your daily routines? And finances, things cost money. Internet costs money. Everything costs money. It all, like getting merch, it all costs money. So what do you need that you would be doing, but you're blocking it with the finances? And you really want to do those things and do more of those things, right? So how you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day is that visualization and setting the intention. So the next segment for this Soul Legacy Journal, and I want to respect your time, it's coming up for an hour, is the next 3 things that you can commit to throughout this week from today, Emotional Freedom Wednesday, to next Emotional Freedom Wednesday. If there's something that feels off, feels gunky, it feels like you're in soul funk about it, one area of the 7 freedoms, 1, 2, 3 areas, whatever it is, you might focus on one area and that you keep dipping in. What are the 3 things that you can do to commit to making that more fun? And so for me, between last Wednesday and this Wednesday, I did not know that I would be in this space, but I'm setting the intention to be in a space that I feel amazing. I feel really good. And I want to launch my day. I want to lead my day and leaving my day. Robin says, dang, that went fast. Got to go. Get mom. See you soon. Oh, no worries. I know it's nearly an hour. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you being on here with me. So, what are the three things? And so for me, emotionally, just being aware and just having this awareness and doing this journaling. It might be something that you're already doing. I'm already doing my journaling. I'm already doing my gratitude. Like, do those things with me that raise your vibrational frequency. Visualizing. I haven't played my vision board, the 30-day montage that I teach on the 7-day vision board challenge that's free. I haven't played that every day, so that's what I'm going to be doing when I wake up, either at night or both. Yeah, I will add that. But my gratitude and my journaling, I'm here and I'm consistent and I'm loving it. So let's feed for the next segment is the soul income game. And so the Soul Legacy Journal, although I don't have my journal on me, but the Soul Legacy Journal, because I'm the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, and this is my legacy, launching, leading, and leaving my day with ease, grace, and flow. So the Soul Income game, what that does is that helps us to 555. That helps us to be in vibrational alignment with the freedom, financial freedom. We're contributing, and we're bringing in the financial freedom so that we can look after ourselves, our health, and our emotions. And worrying and stressing about money is not the thing. And so the Soul Income game is where it was inspired by Abraham Hicks, the prosperity game, and also by the Prosperity Consciousness book by Frederick Lerman. And so the Soul Legacy Journal gives you £1,000, dollars, or euros every single day. And you tithe 10% of that to a worthy cause. So this is where you try on and you get to be the person that you would be, having that vibrational alignment, having that freedom. And so I say banking 50K in 50 days. So every single day for the next 50 days is what I challenge you to commit to, spending your vibrational money voucher, doing it vibrationally first. And that reticular activating system, it has you see, oh, I would spend money on that. Oh, I'm freeing up that energy and that flow. Money's energy. So, we want to bring that in, that level of freedom. And so what happens is it allows you to buy the things that are on your vision board, right? So you're not creating a vision board that you have no belief whatsoever that would actually manifest. And so it's been really freeing for me. And so we spend this vibrational money voucher, and then I invite you to come to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass that happens live on the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. UK time to do the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge in the physical world, in the visible, meaning building a spiritual business as a light worker, as a spiritual entrepreneur who has a movement, building that. And so you can actually manifest that life and tithe. So the worthy cause that I tithe to is called Compassionate Friends. I'm actually going to be a volunteer. I'll just say I'm a volunteer for them. I've got some official stuff to do. But we set the intention to be a volunteer, to run an online hybrid group, an online group, and then a in-person group in London, in Stratford, for bereaved parents. Because I am a bereaved parent. My son made his transition 8 years ago, and so 12 days before his 20th birthday. And I'll tell you something that just came to mind, and that will be my son guiding me. I didn't have the money to pay for my son's funeral, right? My mum and my partner paid a little bit, but my mum, it was on my mum. And that shouldn't be on my mum. It should have been on me. I had life insurance for I don't know, 300,000 pounds or whatever it was. And I didn't have it. And so I was busy doing this work. Maybe I was, or wherever I wasn't. Yeah, I was. And, when we're doing this as our work in the world as a spiritual entrepreneur, as a light worker, we want to be open to receive the money, right? And so not being able to pay for my own son's funeral was one of those moments, and that awakening of Iona, get your together, because this is crazy. Why are you repelling that financial freedom? So if you're repelling financial freedom and you don't want to play the soul income game, that's okay. But I wanted to be okay. I wanted to have both. I wanted to be able to contribute and be able to receive the money. Because when we're not, we're energetically blocking something. We're energetically blocking energy. And as doing our work in the world as light workers, why would we do that? Like, well, I'll manifest, I'll have this, but I won't have this. Why are we making that differentiation? It's energy. We know that it's energy. So the soul income game allows you to tie 10% to a worthy cause. What would be your worthy cause? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the community. And do your vision board so you can see yourself doing that. 10% every single day of this vibrational money voucher. And then what we want to do is come from the space that our bills are paid and that our savings are taken care of. And as light workers, oftentimes I have seen and witnessed, and that might be my belief or not, is that, and if you've experienced this, let me know, is that we say that we don't do what we do for the money. And it's absolutely right. I don't do what I do for the money, right? However, I don't want to go and work for somebody else. So I better make this my business. And a business solves problems. And a business, as a business owner, any other business, right, receives money. But as light workers, we're like, yeah, I'm in business, but I'm not really, because I'm not receiving the money and I don't want to go work for anyone else. And I'm spending 24/7 and I'm in this state of lack and poverty consciousness. It's a mismatch. It's a lie. It really is. And so this is what this Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is about, raising our vibrational frequency around the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. So spend your vibrational money voucher, actually go and literally spend it. If you don't want to spend it every day because you don't feel like you've got the time, then carry over the £900, dollars or euros, wherever you are in the world, what your currency is. And you can carry it over to make a bigger purchase. And then by Sunday, you've got to spend the money. So on Financial Freedom Sunday, I will come on and I will share what I've spent my vibrational money voucher on. I reset to do the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. So I've done one Sunday and I bought a camper van, buzzing about my black camper van. Absolutely love it. And being a spiritual digital nomad, absolutely on point for me. So I'll let you know. I don't know what I'm going to spend my money on Sunday, but it's going to be something amazing. So I'm feeling the feelings of that and watching the manifestation on my vision board. And that wasn't on my, and again, more images for my vision board annually. All right. So the next segment is the card for today. And then I'll talk about the book and then I'll wrap up. So this is Mother Mary. It's a oracle card from Keepers of the Light by Cal Gray. It says love and peace. So it's Emotional Freedom Wednesday, traveling up the emotional scale. So it says, let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Ooh, mother healing is possible. Mother healing is possible at this time. So that's for me and that's for you. So the book that I listened to today, and I'm an author, so I love listening to books. I love reading books. We have the SBYN, the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network monthly call, and we have the book club in there. And so the book that I listened to today was The Astonishing Power of Emotions, and I don't have any notes on it, I don't think. So the chapter that I listened to today was talking about Abraham Hicks, Jerry and Esther Hicks. We're talking about knowing that we are soul, source, God, whatever you want to say. They say source and inner being. And knowing that the contrast and knowing the humanness, basically the humanist contrast, but when you know that you are creation, when you know that you are having a human experience as a soul, then you're not really pushed and pulled by that much anymore because you're observing. And I love that. And so they were saying that contrast, when you know what you don't want, you're experiencing what you don't want, so you know what you do want. I love that. And so the astonishing power of emotions is like just noticing and journaling how you're feeling. And what I would say is how you're feeling again about each area of your life. And read a book, listen to a book to help you. They say let your feelings be your guide. And I don't mean be pushed and pulled. I mean, in my interpretation is feeling that whatever it is that you want to manifest is already done. And when you feel the contrast and you feel lower vibrations, it's something to release and let go and to heal. So let those feelings be your guide to that healing. So that is it for the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. If you have not been, I want to leave you with this invitation. If you've not been on my free monthly networking call and you want to continue on this conversation, I would love that. If you are a student in the soullegacyacademy.com, which is my online training portal, my business, remember to schedule on to the Seven Freedoms Frequency calling gym. I have a 2-hour monthly calling gym where I coach my students on the Seven Freedoms Frequency. I love it. And so on the monthly networking call is free to come and co-create and cross-promote and collaborate with like minds. And so it's a space for spiritual entrepreneurs who have a movement to love up on each other, to support each other, to root for our success, right? And to cross-promote and collaborate, meaning that you don't have to do this alone. So you'll see on the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona, on my YouTube channel, I have started season 1 of the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. I love it. I love joint vision partnerships. So the vision that my guests have, we have a joint vision. We don't do the same work in the world, but we definitely have a vision for that healing and that bringing light into the world and birthing that and learning our own lessons and being that beacon of light first. So this is a space on this call to be a guest or find a guest, right? And to raise our own vibration. And again, there's the book club as well. I would love to have you on there. If you have a YouTube podcast, if you have a YouTube channel and you want to start a YouTube podcast, or if you have a podcast and you want to start a YouTube channel, share how to do that on the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge. I'll Masterclass, sorry. The Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass is a place where I share that and I teach it. I teach what I'm doing. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here with me on the replay, on the lives. It's an amazing feeling. I'm going to go get ready for the next show in the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. Again, that happens on the 2 middle Wednesdays of the month, binge watch Wednesdays. I'm going to probably have a walk in nature beforehand or definitely before the end of the day. All right, big love. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.